Right now. Ross, can you get his attention there?
I got him. I'm looking for him now.
Dan, I hate to tell you this, but I don't think you're on the schedule until later on.
Well, I think I might have slipped up there and asked Bob, but can we just keep this between you and I, since no one needs to know?
That may be a little difficult, Dan, because we have you on the PA here, and there's tens of thousands of people who know you screwed up.
Yeah, you're kidding me, right? You're not serious. We're not really on the PA.
Yep, we're on the PA, all right. Everybody's listening to you, and everybody knows this isn't your part of the show, and you butted in on Ross Granley.
Hey, Ross, this is Dan in the hang glider. You're not mad at me, are you? Hey, Dan, you're really ruining my act here right now. I love your streamers, though. Yeah, so what's your point? Yeah, I'm gonna move down towards the runway.
You just cut him. He just went through.
The streamer's on your way. Yeah. I know. You're trying to hit Dan. I think, I don't know. He just kind of got in the way.
Trim his feathers, Ross. This is what happens, folks, when you butt in on somebody's act. You see all those streamers coming from the back of that hang glider? Well, Ross is doing his best to shorten them. He just did.
Not again there, Dan, but I've got the nice streamers on my way now.
See the streamers, folks? They're now on Ross's wing. Oh, Dan, I'm sorry. There's a few people down here, Dan, want to talk to you. One of them says Transport Canada on his shirt. The other one says RCMP on the hat. I think you're in trouble, Dan. I think it's also time you turned around and headed back to the airport here. There's people waiting down here to talk to you. How you doing up there, Ross? Are you teaching them a lesson?
I'm just waiting to get out of the way so I can actually use the runway. You're doing it great, Dan.
Dan Buchanan, ladies and gentlemen, horning in on Ross Granley's show today. There he is, turning around down at the west end of the field, heading back our way. Ross, with the streamers, were trailing from the wingtip. That's the way they pay back guys who butt into their act. Took the streamers right off the hang glider.
Ross, I can't believe you. Oh, that's better on my airplane, I think. I'm a faster driver.
Bob, I think we can prove that we got Dan Buchanan on the PA system. We'll just get everybody to stand up and wave at him.
Oh, this is great, Dan.
Take a look at the truck there, folks.
You just improved my act.
See that great big line pouring out there?
Good job, buddy.
Uh-oh, look out.
There you go.
Too close for missiles, switching the guns.
Look at how short the streamers are now.
Alright, Dan, well, looks like you're out of my way, but I'm going to meet you on the ground. I'm thinking that we need to have a quick discussion.
Uh-oh.
Like that, I think I can use it now, Dan. You and me. And take stop the truck when you get to the apex of the
High above us, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Buchanan in his hang glider. Okay, Dan, I'm with you.
Tommy, let's go to the tow line.
Right now, Dan is still on the tow line from that custom-built trailer behind the truck. And in a moment, they're going to drop that tow line, and Dan will be free, and I think he probably is right now. And Dan is now free of the tow line and is just enjoying himself up there today. Dan Buchanan lives near Carson City, Nevada, but he's on the road for months at a time, performing at 25 air shows around the world. Dan was a home builder and mechanical engineer before airshow performing took up most of his time. He's been flying hang gliders and sailplanes for 31 years, and some of his flights have lasted for 6 hours and up to altitudes of 24,000 feet, all without an engine. That's why today he had his pickup truck tow him to altitude with a winch. It tows him up to about 1,500 feet. And the first part of the act is done on the line. Then he lets the line go, and now just enjoying the beautiful sky over Abbotsford, British Columbia today, flying the Canadian maple leaf flag from the top of the hang glider. Sun glinting off what's left of the streamers.
And they're a lot shorter than they were before.
Yes, they certainly are.
This is energy management at its best, Bob, because again, he's got no engine on that thing. You were mentioning it is a hang glider, so he's got to get it just right to land that contraption safely on the ground.
And here he's just touching down, folks, on the grass ever so gently. Dan Buchanan doing a great job in the hang glider today once he got free of Ross Granley. Too bad it wasn't his point on the Bear Show program to do his act.
Uh-oh, and look to the left here. Here comes Ross.
All right, and also the truck is heading back out there to pick up Dan. Ross is coming in, probably got an earful for him. See the streamer still trailing from the wing of Ross Granley's yak. That shows you that he went right through the streamers and they actually stuck to the wing of the airplane. All this happening now, coming up the spoke towards Show Center. Dan's truck coming in here to pick him up. Dan Buchanan, whose passion is not just flying hang gliders, but he does long-distance desert racing with ATVs. He does kayaking, scuba diving. Very few of these people who perform in air shows do just one thing. They are quite capable people and are in top-notch physical condition and usually excel at quite a number of things. Now, the one thing that we have been holding back from you to this point is the fact that Dan uses a wheelchair, and they're going to get the wheelchair now out of the back of the truck. Dan uses a wheelchair because he lost the use of his legs 30 years ago when he became paralyzed when the hang glider came down hard as he landed in very stormy weather in the Sierra Nevada mountains. He re-injured an old dirt bike injury at that time and has been unable to walk since. But Dan's tenacity returned him to flying in just 6 months, and then he earned his private and commercial pilot certificates. He since has accrued more than 2,700 hours of flight time in hang gliders and sailplanes. And Dan, of course, when asked why he flies, has a big smile on his face and says, "I have to fly, can't walk." The tenacity of Dan Buchanan, ladies and gentlemen, shows you can do it. You can do it. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. He's picking the streamers off the wing of Ross's aircraft and getting a bit of a free ride there back to the performance parking area. Let's have a nice round of applause for Dan Buchanan from very close to Carson City in the state of Nevada, coming all the way up here to perform for us today. And Ross Granley being a really good sport, allowing Dan to horn in on his act there right at the end. And we're paying him back now. How do you like this smoke, Dan? Aerobatic pilots have a habit of doing this when the air show's paying for the smoke oil. Don't want to leave any in there. Make sure you use it all. Dan coming into show center here in his wheelchair, and Ross Granley will be heading the yak back into the performers parking area. Dan waving goodbye.
I don't think he's waving.
No, maybe not. Visibility is kind of bad for a wheelchair there today, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, folks, once again, now that we can see Dan and you can see him, let's have a nice round of applause for Dan. Great job, Dan, as usual.